family. If you're in or near Columbia, South Carolina, you've got to visit the House of Hathor, located at 6319 North Main Street. Open Tuesday through Saturday, it's your one-stop shop for African clothing, African masks, natural soaps, incense, candles, jewelry, and more. Plus, they've got a beautiful event space. Owned and operated by Baba Rutaski and Mama Neterma Canute. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the culture. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the movement. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the people.
Greetings, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to the House of Hathor's Libation, Liberation, Lifestyle Ceremony. We come to you this day with a message from the ancestors that has a message of uplifting, inspiration, that it continues to influence, that it continues to enlighten us on a daily basis so that we may live the lives that we have been anointed and ordained to live. And as we continue to honor the ancestors, as we continue to bring them forward within our lives, as we continue to venerate them and acknowledge their existence in all of our thoughts, our words, and our actions, that we will continue to be the vessels, the altars, and the temples of their great energy, spirit, and soul. And as they continue to work with us spiritually, we then become the institution, the industry, and the environment of their great energy, spirit, and soul. You see, that is the balance of life that the ancestors continues to bring to us. That is the unification of spirit, energy, and soul. That is the reference, the frame of reference, the cultural identity. That is the optimum action that we continue to commit ourselves to our ancestors. When we invite them into our world, when we are invited into their world, that is the interconnection, that is the interdependence, and that is where the interrelationship takes place within life and with the spirit. Because we're always still talking about balance. We're always talking about harmony. We're always talking about truth. We're always talking about order. And as we continue to learn our truth on a daily basis, as we continue to be justified in knowing our truth, because again, my brothers and sisters, there is no one, there is no book, there is no class that can teach you about you. Class can teach you about everything else, about everybody else. But when it starts teaching you about you, that is only going to take place in the spirit. The spirit teaches us everything that we need to know about ourselves. The spirit will teach us about what our design is. The spirit will teach us about what our enhancements are. The teachers will teach us about, the spirit will teach us about our influences, our self-determination. The spirit will teach us about having faith within ourselves. All that comes through spirit. It is not something that you can quantify or even qualify. Because if it could, it can tell you about the breath of life that you have. It can tell you when you're going to receive it, and it can tell you when you're going to give it away. Only spirit can do that, and something that powerful, that only comes through the Creator, the great ancestor of all ancestors. And then the Creator has given us our ancestors as counsel, as guides, as our spiritual court, because they do hold us accountable. See, that's where spirit does everything for us, and everything that man has created, regardless to what it is only a reflection of what has been given to man to create in human form. No matter what it is. If you're projecting something, that means you're only projecting what you have reflected. If you are manifesting something, that means you're only manifesting something that has been generated within you. Everything happens in, and then we make sure that it goes outside. Nothing takes place outside in. If it's taking place outside in, that means now that has become a distraction or even an attraction to take you away from your true purpose of living. because now you see something else that you would like to do instead of doing the things that you are supposed to do. And this is what the ancestors are bringing to us today. So as we include our ancestors into our libation, and libation has always been and will always be an intermediary process that we use to go into spirit so that we can honor, acknowledge, and venerate our ancestors. So let us bring the ancestors involved into this conversation that we're having. We're called upon our ancestors far and near, fathers and mothers of our fathers, mothers and fathers of our mothers, to bear witness to all that we have done. And it is by your example that you continue to inspire us towards reclaiming our ancestral minds, regenerating our ancestral spirit, liberating our families, our homes, and our communities, and restoring our greatness as a people. We pour libation to bring into our midst your venerable ancestral spirit, radiating your great wisdom, your courage, dedication, and your unyielding commitment to victory by any means necessary. It is in the honor of our Creator, the great ancestor of all ancestors, our mothers and fathers, our sisters and brothers, our children and their children, our grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, our aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, and elders of the community, that we pour this libation in your honor. In the honor of the Creator, the great ancestor of all ancestors, and the various manifestations of the Creative Spirit, we pour libation. Ashe. For our esteemed ancestors who laid the foundation for human civilization and who provides the wisdom to which we live and the models by which our lives are guided, we pour libation. Ashe. And for our esteemed ancestors who suffered the atrocities and the horrors of our Ma'afa, but yet demonstrated the victorious power of the ancestral spirit by maintaining their dignity, no matter the cost, we pour libation. Ashe. And for our esteemed ancestors who survived and made it possible for us to be here today, to continue on the valiant fight of our ancestral liberation and our vindication, we pour libation. Ashe. And finally, for our children and their children and future generations of our ancestors to come, that they too in their time will vindicate our race from all adversaries, and that they will continue to imprint upon the world the great genius of our ancestral humanity, we pour libation. Ashe. May your venerable spirit engulf this occasion to reaffirm our ancestral canopy. It is done. The great ancestor of all ancestors is satisfied. Ashe. 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 Dua Neter. So again, my brothers and sisters, we say peace and power, Hotep to you all this day. And as we continue to live, love, and learn the processes of life that has been ordained and anointed within each and every one of us, that we continue to live the life, that we continue to love the life, and that we continue to learn the life that we're supposed to be living in human form, but balancing the spirit within that realm as well. And as we were speaking about earlier, we're talking about being able to be enhanced, increased, and enriched. That is where self-determination comes in. Self-determination, it is balanced and it is in harmony and in order with enhancements, increasements, and enrichments, endurance, income, and insurance. We are always insured through spirit that we will reach the goals that we're supposed to reach when we have a greater understanding about our connection to the spiritual realm and understanding and connecting with our ancestors. Whatever the income is, whether it be income of finances or income of information or income of knowledge and wisdom, all of that comes through spirit first. There is nothing that you can manifest or generate or reflect and project upon unless it's coming through your spirit first. Every thought that you have, it is in spirit form first before you even speak it. So as we continue to learn our processes, whatever they may be for you, we ask that you acknowledge, honor, and venerate your ancestors so that you may be the best that you can possibly be in your human form, because in spiritual form, there are no limits. There is nothing that's going to hold you back in your spiritual form. But the vessel this vessel that we're housing the spirit in, it does have a time limit on it. And we don't know what that time limit is, but we are held accountable for doing what we are required to do while we're here, because our commitment is to our spirit. Our commitment is to generate, to reflect, and project upon. Our commitment is to build and manifest and create something that is a true reflection of the spirit that dwells within us. That is our commitment. That is our purpose. And we must atone for not doing that in our earlier form. Because see, our spirit is older than our vessel. And when we came here, we were already given instructions as to what we're supposed to do while we're here. But we allowed ourselves to be tricked. We allowed ourselves to be distracted. We allowed ourselves to be attracted to something else outside of our spirit, and we forgot our way. And now the ancestors are going to hold us accountable, or have held us accountable in so many different ways for losing our way. Not only us, but our ancestors as well. And once they recognize that in their spiritual form, now they are more willing to give us the strength, to give us the endurance, to give us the power, to give us the energy that it takes in order for us to do what they may not have been able to do because they were distracted. And now it is placed upon us. And if we don't do it, then that means the next generator or the next generations will have to do what we did not do while we were here. So let us continue on the pathway of doing what we have been anointed and ordained to do as spiritual beings having human experiences. Let us continue to find harmony, balance, and order. Let us continue to have the commitment to the spirit as well as to life and nature, so that we may live in order, so that we may live liberated, so that we may be free in our human form to live life in a justifiable way. So we say peace and power to you all this day. Let us have a wonderful day this day. Let us continue to live, love, and learn our processes of life. And let us continue to unite with one another so that we may be holistically together in our spirit. Ashe to our ancestors.